this video, I'm going to show you how to use formulas to automatically import NFL Combine data from the web and then create a dashboard that we can use to compare players to both the overall ranking from all players in the Combine and then a positional ranking in each of the tests that they perform at the Combine. So let's get after it. Okay, so we're back, and the first thing that we're starting with is just a blank sheet here where we are going to be pulling in all of the data. Now, before we get started, this is just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying any of the content on my YouTube channel, to please like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps the channel grow, as well as if you could share these videos on social media and tag me in them. That really helps me keep up to date with where the videos are being shared, and then work to create more videos in the topics that people are finding interesting. So with all that out of the way, we're going to start the project. Now, the NFL Combine data is stored on the internet. So what we're going to do is go to a website called Pro Football Reference. And if I'm looking through this website here, you can see that there's a table that has all of the current NFL Combine data. This is from the 2022 Combine, so the one that's actually going on right now. And you can see it has all the athletes, the position, school, college, height, weight, 40, vertical, bench, broad jump, 3-cone, etc. And, oh, I lied. This is from the 2020 Combine. Let's go to the 2022 Combine. Here's the 2022 Combine. So this is the one that's actually going on. Regardless, it has the same information. So we have player, position, school, college, height, weight, 40, vertical, bench, etc. And using formulas through Excel, we can actually import this data and have a live link to it, so that as this data changes, we just rerun the formula and it will automatically update with all of the new data. So what we're going to do here is we would copy the URL to this page. This particular database is pretty cool because I can just get a link to this table right here. And if I were to copy this to clipboard, now I have that, and I'm going to go back to my actual sheet. And what I'm going to type in is equals import HTML. And what that's going to allow me to do is import a table from the web. So what I need is a URL, a query, and then an index. So what I'm going to type in is quotations and then paste the URL that we just copied from that website. It could be the URL that you copy out of the web address bar, or we just had a link to it on the actual website. And then comma, it's going to ask me for my query. Now for the query, all we need to know is whether the data is stored in a table or as a list. And in this case, it was formatted as a table. So I'm just going to type quotations, table, quotations, and then comma. And the last thing it's going to ask me for is the index. And I believe this was the first table on the web page. So I'm going to type in number 1 and then close off these brackets and hit enter. And it's going to give me a loading. And then voila, all of the information from that table is automatically imported into my Google Sheet. And you can see as I scroll all the way down, all of that information is there. Now, one of the things that we have to do for this data is actually clean it up, because if you can see here, I'm going to highlight these in a different color. We'll go black, make the text white, and maybe I'll make it bold because that's our headings. But if I go down, you can see that because of the way the table's formatted, there's another set of headings here and another set of headings here, and so on and so forth. So one way that we can clean this up is if I go back to the top of this table and where it says import HTML, if I just wrap this in a unique formula, UNIQUE, open that up and then close it off and hit enter, it doesn't look like much changed, but as I scroll down, you can see that all of those additional headers basically are gone. And the reason that is because they were not unique values as a whole data set, right? So what it was looking for is it took this whole row and it took all of these rows that are completely unique. Otherwise, we would be removing all of the different positions, colleges, etc. But what it looks at is the whole thing together. So it removed all of them. So now this data is pretty clean, and we can actually use it for our analysis. So if I go to my next sheet, all I have here is a sheet where I'm going to pull out some of the information so that I can compare it to basically other athletes in the same position. So I'm going to highlight this cell here because I want to create a spot with a drop-down menu that I can actually pull out different athletes. So to do this, as we've done in so many of the videos, I'm going to go to Data and then Data Validation. It's going to ask me what list I want, and I'll select Data from Range, go back to my data. I'm just going to select the column that has the athlete names in it. I'm going to start at A2 and hit OK and then save. If I go back to my video sheet, I can now pull in the different names. Okay, so the next thing that we want is I'm just going to go an overall average and then position rank. So these are the two headers that I'm looking for, and the next thing I want is all of my categories. So what I can do here is I can actually just copy from position all the way over to basically shuttle, Control C, go back to my sheet, and then I'm going to right click, paste special, and I'm going to paste it transposed, and what you can see is it just pulls it in. It turns basically a horizontal list to a vertical list and gives me something that I can pull in there. So the final thing I'm going to do for this video today is I'm just going to show you how to now, with all of this data and the name selected, pull out the different values for this athlete. So for that, I'm going to use a formula called VLOOKUP. So I'll type equals VLOOKUP, open that up. It's going to ask me what my search key is. In this case, it is my athlete, and that place in the sheet is never going to change. So I'm going to lock that in with $signs. The shortcut is F4, comma. Then it's going to ask me what is the range that I actually want to look through. And for that, I'm just going to select all of these columns, basically all the way up to shuttle. And that's never going to change. So I'll lock that in with F4 as well, comma. And then it's going to ask me which one I want to index. And what it means is basically which number column do I want to index. Do I want number 1 for player, number 2 for position, school, etc.? So what I have to do here now is perform a match formula to match for the category on the side here. So I'll type in match, open that up, and I'm going to look for position. And I know that that's going to change, but only the row because I'm going to drag this down. So I'll just lock in the column and then comma. I want to look for that along the top. So basically from A1 to L1, and that's never going to change. So I'll lock that in and then comma. The last thing is I know that these aren't sorted. So, or sorry, I know that I want an exact search type. So I'm going to type in false, comma, or sorry, bracket. And then for my last VLOOKUP, is it sorted? We'll type in false because they're not. And then close that all off and we should get our position. Now because of the way we've locked in our references, we locked in our name, we locked in the database, we've locked in the column for the position, and we've locked in our header database basically. Because we've done that, I should now be able to just drag this down and all of my data fills in. And because of the way that the references are structured, if I was to choose a different athlete, you can see that a lot of the data automatically updates. So that's going to do it for today. In the next part for this video, what I'm going to show you how to do is, based on all of this data, calculate the percent ranks for the overall and the positional, and then we will create a chart so that we can visualize it. So I hope this video helps you out. If it does, please like and subscribe to the channel because that really helps me out, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.